All right, this is a short little tutorial for Illustrator on how to create something that silly in very, very few objects. If I go under my view and I go under outline, that's it. There's only that item and another one in the background. See, so if I move this out of the way, and if I move the text out of the way, that's it. There's only two items. So how do I manage to do something like this? Very simple. I'm going to create a new artboard very quickly. And we're going to get moving with, I'm going to start with a line, a straight line. So I'm going to press and hold my shift key. I have, there's no fill and stroke, so I'm going to add a stroke to this thing. I'm going to use my color swatches. I'm going to make it green. And actually, you know what? Let's make it taupe. Let's work into the more muted kind of colors. So you can see that there's a very thin line right there. It's about 1 point. It's perfect. So I'm going to go into my effects. I'm going to go in distort and transform, and I'm going to go zigzag. And right here, I'm not going to go corners. I'm going to make it smooth to make it a wavy line. And I'm going to keep it fairly low like this. So as I increase the number of ridges in my segment, this is what happens. And if I increase the size, of course, this is what happens. It gets really, really wide. So I want to keep it, at this time, I want to keep it a little bit more subtle like this. And I'm going to go OK. And I'm going to move it all the way to the left edge of my document right there. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to move my artboard a little bit out of the way. There you go. So we can really work like this without hitting the other side by side. So there you go. So I have my little line right there, my little wavy line. I'm going to go back to effect again. I'm going to go distort and transform again. And this time I'm going to go transform. And as you can see in that little transform window right there, I have my scaling, my move, my options, etc. And I have also the number of copies right there. So if I don't want to scale it, I just want to move it horizontally. So I'm just going to, type a few numbers like this and just see what it does. But I'm going to increase it to, let's say, 1 copy, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. So as I do this, it just increases the number of repeats basically at a 1/2 inch move. So I want to keep it tight. And let's see, 0.0625, which is a 1/16 of an inch. And I want to make it, I want to make a lot of it. There you go. So it covers my whole page, maybe not that much. Like so, 142 times. So I have this page now that is covered. It's really hard on the eyes, by the way. Oh, that's really hard. So I just have that one basically, and it's just a one line that repeats over. So if I go back into my my view right here, if I go to back to my outline, all I have is that one line right here with 2 effects on it, the zigzag and the repeat. If you want to modify this, I'm going to go switch back to my preview. You can go into your appearance panel right here. It's also under, of course, your window right here, appearance right here. And you can see that there's my line, my path has a zigzag effect and it has a stroke at 1 point, and it also has the transform effect. So there's 2 effects on it. So I'm going to keep it as is right now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select it, right? And I'm going to copy it. That's all I'm doing. I'm using a shortcut, Command C or Control C for a PC. I'm just going to copy it. And now I'm going to do a fill. I'm going to create a rectangle the size of my page right here. Snap it to the edges. I'm going to change its color so we can see it better. And then since I was using those taupe colors, I'm going to go just a shade darker. And you can see if I put it in the back, if I move it to the back, you can see this is what's going to happen. But right now, first, I just want to show you different colors. I select both objects. I select my rectangle and my line, which is right there on the left-hand side. And I right-click on it, and I make a clipping mask. So now my color of my clipping mask has disappeared. It's translucent, but you can see only the lines, or you can see only the lines within that, so they're not bleeding off this side of the side of the page. So what I can do is I can zoom in closely, and I can select just the edge of my path right there, and you can see there's no fill, no stroke. And now I can go and add a fill to it, right? Oh, a darker shade. There you go. So now my clipping mask has a fill color. Now you have this. Beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is what I've done here, I have some type right there. So I may not use the word fun. I'm just going to use just a single letter. Here I had the vertical type tool selected to type vertically, but I'm just going to go with a regular type tool right here. I'm just going to click once, and this is the typeface that I have. It's Bungie regular at 330 point. Great. I want to put the X letter right there because I think it's a quite a dynamic letter, and I'm going to keep it live. I'm going to keep that live text, so it's 330 point, and I want to just bump it up. So I'm going to press and hold my shift key, and I'm going to click on those little arrows up and down to go 10 point at a time. And I'm going to keep on going until I have a very large letter on my page right here. Just try to make it as big as possible without hitting the edges. Come on, let's make it really large. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. So center it approximately. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now again, remember I had copied those lines. So I go under edit and then paste in front. So it's the exact same line at the exact same location. So I'm going to change the color this time. I'm going to go with a darker tone, right? And so this is my tone of my background. Actually, I'm going to make it even darker. There you go. But the my X letter there, I want to bring that to the front, right? So I'm going to switch over to my outline preview right there, so I can actually select individual objects, right? So I have better control over that because my line that has the zigzag is overlapping and I cannot select the stuff behind it. So I can just go into my outline preview and then I click on it and click on the object that I want. And now I have the shortcut, of course, to move it forward, to move it in front, I mean, but I can right click on it and I can go arrange, bring to front. And now it's in the front. And then now I do the exact same thing as I did earlier. I have my type selected. I select my line as well at the same time. So I can click there. I have the, you can see the line is selected now. I have this selected and I do exactly the same thing. I make a clipping mask out of it, create a clipping mask. And this is what happens. I have, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I have now a text object that is also a clipping mask. And this is what happens. So it's the exact same background, and it's just the thin lines that changes, right? That is in basically one clipping mask for the background, one clipping mask as the letter. And as you can see, the highlights in blue as I hover over. And so that looks cool. But what if I want to change those lines right here in the background? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate things a little bit so I can access them a little bit better. Because if I try to select the stuff that is behind, it gets a little complex. Well, no, I can do it as well. So this is the easiest thing: is you can select the object behind, and this is my shape, the rectangular shape that I have in the background, and you double click on it to get into isolation mode. And you can see that little gray arrow, gray area on the top, and everything kind of fades away. And now I can select my line on the inside here. I can click pretty much anywhere here. It's selected on the left, and now I can change the color of my line right here. So I can make it darker, for example. And I can to get out of the isolation mode, I can use the arrow right here, or I can just double click on my desktop anywhere. So now they're matching, right? They're the exact same colors. Oh, that's great. I screwed up. No, I'm going to change the one that is inside my X. Again, my letters, same thing. I'm going to double click on my X right there. I get into isolation mode, and I can select the line again. I just click it once, and then I can right there. No, it's not letting me. Oh, actually, I can change the letter. Actually, this is what I can do. Instead of an X, make an A. And then I can select my line inside, but it's not going to let me now. Awesome. Great for demonstration. Nope. And let's see if I can select it now. It's not going to let me. Not going to let me. I did that earlier in the previous example, and now it's not letting me. Oh, well. I'm going to work around it. We're going to do it in the background instead. It's a lot easier. Double click on it. Select the line again. So you get into isolation mode. Select the line again. And this time I'm going to make that one a little lighter. And you can see it. It's going to disappear. No, that's not the line that I want to make lighter. Sorry, it's the background. So I have to, sorry, deselect that. So I'm going to select the background again. Double click on it to get into isolation mode. And then I select just the clipping mask that has that dark color that I have right here. So instead, I'm going to make it lighter this time. I'm going to bump it up into my swatches that are the standard color swatches. I'm going to make it lighter and then get out of isolation mode. So this problem right here is I have both lines are the exact same color. You can see this is what happens, right? So if you move them around, this is what you can do. So I'm going to undo all that stuff to stay in the same place. Go back again into my background, double click on it, select the lines. This time I have a stroke selected, not a fill, and I'm going to change the color right there. See what that does. There you go. So that's how you can do things, right? Very, very quickly. Again, I'm just going to try again something else. I'm going to double click again, select the line again, and I'm going to change the thickness this time. Make it a little thicker, you know, and maybe just the same color and see what happens. What do I see? Nothing. I don't see a difference. Okay, so you know, I'm experimenting here. It's for fun, but this is what you can do. So tone on tone, it is slightly off, of course, but you know, it creates some cool effects right there. Just a type, right? So if you want to do some very psychedelic looking backgrounds or type treatment, let's say for your cover, for example, a GDT10 booklet about typography, you can do a quick graphic like this for your cover, and then you can type, you know, on top of that, you can just do another. Of course, it's massive. It's at 900 points. I'm going to reduce it to 60. I can see it. There you go. And then pick the same color. It's not the same color. This is the same color. So you have some cool little type treatment right there. So just play with typography, type with effect, play with typography, play with effects in Illustrator, see what happens, experiment a little bit, try different things, have fun.